Afternoon, everybody. We're back here at the Gammain Sports Ground, the Den, the home of the Lions. We're back for another home game against the Narrandera Eagles today. We welcome the Narrandera Football Club to the Den here today. It's a gloomy day. Beautiful rain through the week. Ground conditions perfect. Bit of a breeze coming from the north end, so the south end has been favoured all day. We've just witnessed a pretty handy game of second grade where the Lions were triumphant by a goal, and Narrandera took out the under-17s quite easy of the early games. So good afternoon to Baz and Tammy, back on deck again. Since we've last been here, the Lions have been out to Mangaplayer, they've been down to Leeton, and then of course everybody enjoyed the long weekend, the bye, so everybody's refreshed and ready to go, as is our number one commentator Andrew Corbett with the news.
Well, thanks very much, Guy. It's good to be back here at the sports ground once again. It's been a few weeks since we've been here, and of course today is MND round. The club has got a raffle being held today in conjunction with Narrandera. First prize is a handcrafted woodwork table manufactured by one of our clubmen, Ken Limbrick. That's first prize, and the AFL Riverina have donated 3 tickets to an AFL game. Today's match, Gammain sits second on the ladder, and Narrandera sits 7th. The Lions had the bye last week, which everyone did have with the long weekend, so they've had to make some changes with Aaron Proctor, Jesse Lander and Dan Madden out of the side, and into the side today Matt Foley, Sean Foley and young Oscar Hattie makes his debut for the Lions. I think it's their 10th debut for the year and the 7th teenager to come into the side today. So it's good to see Oscar out there. He'll line up with his older brother Lucas. And the Lions will be looking to finish the home and away first round in sustain their second position on the ladder with a victory. Narrandera will be looking to... I think they've had the two victories so far. They'll be looking to get another win on the board. So overcast conditions here today. We've had a bit of rain through the week, and it should be a good match.
Yeah, well, conditions will be, well, as I said, Andrew, they're really perfect. There's no mud. The ground's 100% cover on this ground. It's fantastic, and the season has suited the ground, and hasn't been played on too much like in years gone by. Sometimes you have consecutive games in the wet and damages the ground, but it's just absolutely perfect. And of course, yeah, we just mentioned that MND once again. Of course, for a couple of weeks ago, we lost Neil Danaher. He was the instigator of that freeze at the G, and we all know the story of Neil's life, what he poured into that fight, MND, and I was able to see a fair bit of his funeral that was shown live through the week on Wednesday from the MCG. It was very touching tributes from family and lots of top people from the AFL, which you would expect. Little bit of history for those that aren't old enough. His brother Anthony played here in 1980 before he went on to the Swans after that, didn't he, Andrew? So in his lead up to starting with the Swans and then switching to Essendon, he had a season with the Maroons in the dying stages of the once Southwest District Football League. Yeah, so back then. It's only 1980, only a bit over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But, Andrew, you mentioned Oscar Hattie. Well, some of these players the Lions have blooded this year would nearly have to have ID to get into a blue light disco. That's the way I think of them.
Yeah, they've got about 7 or 8 teenagers in the side there today, and Narrandera has as well got some young kids coming through, which is good to see. And The Lions go into this match today. We've been informed by AFL Riverina that they will be 21 points of their allotted 40. The first team in the history of the point system in the RFL to start on 21 points. So that's something that the RFL would be pleased to see, that a club is lining up today with a side that are all one-pointers.
Well, that's good to have Andrew explain that to us. So that basically talks about, that correlates to the fact that they're local footballers to the club, which is great to see. Yeah, talking to some of the Narrandera officials, Andrew, well, some of the Lions actually had to borrow some juniors today from the Narrandera side, which was great to see. So it's good to see Narrandera got those junior numbers coming on, and that bodes well for their future. All clubs, of course, away from the big centres, they struggle once those kids, they finish up leaving school, and then they might leave for employment, leave the smaller areas, or head off to various universities. So can't do much about that, but we're a little bit blessed here at the Lions. We've got proximity to Wagga with our students and the uni, and also I keep talking about it every game. The number of people we've got in the trades must nearly be a record number. So plus we've got some from the farming district, which is good to see, really good. So let's hope that continues into the future.
And Narrandera today is coached by Mark Carroll. His two sons, Isaac and Jaden, will line up for Narrandera today. Mark being a premiership player here at the Lions in his career, and one of the many Carroll family members that have played at this club over the years.
Yeah, well,
steeped in Carroll history.
He would have played alongside Anthony Danaher in that year, I'd imagine, Andrew.
Yeah, he would have, Guy, yes.
With the Maroons.
Yes, I think in 1980 they were coached by Tommy Carroll.
So as you can tell, we're all over the history here. A little bit of a shout out today. We've got our life member Lenny Brills had a bit of a bad run with his health, but he's now back. He's ensconced in the Coolaman Hospital, the local hospital. I believe he's very keen to get back into the get back local to save the family running to Wagga, and also he's in the room up there beside him is Pat Quinn. Years of service to Grong Madong and the Lions. So we hope, if they're not on the live stream, hopefully they enjoy it on the YouTube through the week, today's game. So shout out to those two top fellas, top footballers associated with Gammain Grong Madong.
Yeah, hope they're going well. Pat being 96 and Lenny 99.
So the umpire's about to ball it up. The Lions are going to kick to the north end of the ground.
Now in the ruck for the Lions is Dan Foley and Smith for Narrandera. Dan Foley wins the first tap down to start the game. It's picked up by Darcy Mimo. Gets a hand pass forward to no one in particular. Coming through is Matt Foley, but gathered there by Narrandera in Sterling Cable. He kicks forward. Big leap from behind from O'Keefe. Jack Sussay tries to pick the ball up, gathered by Narrandera. That's pinging the ball around with handballs across at half forward. Clearance there by Tom Quinn on to Boston McCree, on to Jake Underwood. Gets a hand pass on to Seb Hamlin. He can get the first score of the game to start. He goes to a vacant goal square, but he's just gone to the right. It's through for a behind. So the Lions get the first score of the game. It will be brought in by Narrandera to recommence. Going wide to the scoreboard side, looking for young Pendergast. The ball spilled there by Seb Hamlin. And diving in on top of the ball there is Gammain. He's been driven into the ground there, but the umpire gave a free kick there to Tom Anderson, who's got the ball on the 50 on the far side. Kicks one long and low. It hits the ground, gathered by young Kennedy there. He gives a hand pass on to Nate Hamlin. He gets the goal for the Lions. First goal for the Lions. Zach Kennedy swooped on that ball, gave a quick hand pass to Nate Hamlin, and he done a check side and put that one through. The 6 sides currently racing for the top 5 spots in the RFL, so every win is important. The Lions will be looking to get on the front foot here in this first quarter. Narendra have been competitive in their game so far this year. They had a big win over Leeton and Griffith. Back to the centre of the ground. Dan Foley in the ruck against his cousin Smith, who wins the tap. Down to Nimmo. The ball's on the ground there. Players dive in on the ball. Tom Anderson gets a hand pass out to Reynolds. On to Foley. Out to Underwood. Lucas Hattie leaps high. Regathers again. Tries to get his kick away. Just gets a boot to it. Coming through is Carroll there for the Narendra Eagles. On to Davies. He kicks forward, but it's out on the full. It'll be a free kick to Tom Quinn.
Tom Quinn, he'll bring it in from that back flank position, southern end of the ground.
Chips one across into the centre of the ground, finds Brad Matters. Been in good form the last few weeks for the Lions across half-back. He's been forced to kick long and high to the wing. Sitting under this is Narendra's Miles Rankin, who takes the mark. Plays on, kicks one long and low. Looking for his teammate in the pocket, and the ball's forced over the sideline there. That'll be a throw-in. Thrown in there, Dan Foley taps it down, gathered by Tom Anderson. It spills 3, and there's a hold up there with the ball. The umpire elects to ball it up. Foley taps that one forward into the path of Reynolds. He can't gathered by Nimmo there, but intercepted by Brad Matters. Kicks forward looking for Jed Corbett. He marks on the half-forward flank. He can play on quickly. Kicks forward looking for Sean Foley, but the ball's on the ground there. Held without possession, but the umpire's called to play on, and the ball's tumbled over the sidelines in front of the Narendra box.
We'll have a throw in there, right beside the Narendra box. That area, we've got great sponsors there. Cummins Hendricks. Got the officers, Coolaman, Gammane, all around the riverina, really.
Dan Foley already dominating in the tap-outs there as he's tapped that one down. It's gathered by Mimo there for the Narendra Eagles. He's had a few possessions so far, young Darcy Mimo. He's only 17 as Tom Anderson kicks this one forward. Sitting under is Jed Corbett. Tries to take a one-headed mark. The ball's on the ground there, and the umpire call for a ball up. Jed Corbett in the ruck against Smith. Taps it forward, picked up by Pendergast. On to Cable there. He runs through the centre of the ground, takes one bounce. Chased by Butterfield. He kicked this one forward, but it's gone over the back and it's marked by Josh Walsh. Kicks one into the centre of the ground, doesn't find a target, gathered by Narendra. They get a hand pass back into the centre of the ground. Ball's on the ground there. O'Keefe's over top of the ball and he's being awarded a free kick for a push in the back.
Wasn't a lot in it. Tom Anderson really just, little nudge in the back.
A grubbing kick forward there, and Boston McCree's quite happy to see it tumble over the sidelines.
Sponsors out there, Intersales, of course, supply a lot of that machinery that the Lions farmers use. Case Agriculture.
Ball's thrown in. Dan Foley taps it down onto Butterfield, Shannon, and it's out over bounds. Another throw in.
Also out there, we've got the Gammane News Agency and Glenheath, the Kembers Border Leicester stud.
Ball's thrown in. Dan Foley taps it down again into the path of Narendra, though. That's high kick to the goal square here. Sitting under it is Josh Walsh. It goes over his head, and it's through from behind. First score for the Narendra Eagles.
The Lions are 1-1-7. Eagles one behind. 6.5 minutes gone.
Jack Sussay brings it in. It's on the ground there, gathered by Josh Walsh. On to Tom Quinn. On to Zach Kennedy. He can kick this one forward, but it's Narendra sitting under this one. Jed Corbett cuts it off. It's on the ground, taps it forward, looking for Jake Underwood. He's tackled in possession, and it's held up there, 20 metres out from goal. Sean Foley in the ruck. Taps it down, coming through is Narendra there. Can't gather it. Sean Foley tries to pick it up. Oscar Hattie gets his first possession, gets a hand pass forward. And Zach Kennedy's caught with the ball. It'll be a free kick going to Nick O'Brien. He elects to go cross goal. Finds Kyle Bull. He kicks one out to the scoreboard side. Contesting the ball there is Burr Hoppert, gathered by Tom Anderson. He sends this one back in, looking for Seb Hamlin, but in front is O'Brien. He can't hold the mark. The ball's on the ground there, and umpire will call for a ball up.
So we're inside the Lions 50, northern end of the ground, 40 out from the goal.
Sean Foley in front. The ball's tapped on the ground there, gathered by Isaac Carroll. Swings around one, gets his kick away. Kicks forward, coming out to meet it is Jack Sussay, but it's marked by O'Keefe there for Narendra. He goes inside, looking for Fettel, who runs off half back there, but Josh Walsh cuts it off to Dan Foley, to Boston McCree, comes back in the centre of the ground. Ball's on the ground there, Tom Anderson's tackled, and the umpire called for a ball up.
Yeah, he didn't have long enough to get a disposal away.
Lions just not hitting their targets at the moment as Dan Foley taps that down to Reynolds. Goes forward looking for Seb Hamlin. It's gathered by Zach Kennedy. Gets a hand pass on to Jed Corbett. He can have a running shot at goal. And he puts one through the middle for the Lions. Their second.
Never in doubt. Jed took it and took a couple of strides and he could see a clear passage to the north, straight over the goal umpire's head. The Lions are 2-1-13. The Eagles are one behind with 9 minutes gone now in the first term here under what we would say are gloomy conditions, but really good conditions for filming, Baz tells us, with a slight breeze from the north, which the Lions are kicking into at the moment, but really not having much effect on the game.
Charlie Smith comes on the ground, straight into the centre for the Lions. Dan Foley's been dominant in that ruck so far. He's beyond top in the hit-outs. Taps one down to himself, but he's tackled as he does so, and he's going to be pinged, caught the ball. No, the umpire's called for a ball up.
Perhaps a little bit lenient on that occasion.
Tackled by his cousin James Smith. Dan Foley taps that down. Gathered by Narendra there in veering, but it's another ball up. Dan Foley tries to grab it out of the ruck. It's grabbed by Narendra there, marked by Boston McCree. He charges through, breaks one tackle, chips one over the top, looking for Jed Corbett. He marks in front of Pendergast. Just held up. Chips a little low one, looking for Seb Hamlin and fires him at centre half forward, 40 metres out.
Jed measured that. He just held up the kick a little bit, and Seb did the rest.
So Seb coming off 5 goals against Leeton 2 weeks ago. He's been moved from the back line to the forward line through the injury of Sid White.
Kick from 35 out, dead in front, but it fades to the right. Andrew, was that his first foray into the forward line, that Narendra game?
Oh, he may have had a little stint there in one of the earlier games, just as a pinch hitter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's paid off.
And that one's out on the full. It'll be a free kick to Narandra. Lucas Hattie was swung around and he's just tapped it over the sidelines. As Davies for Narandra brings this one forward. Brad Matters is up high, just can't hold the mark. Ball's on the ground there, he regathers. Kicks one forward looking for Seb Hamlin and finds him on the chest. Goes wide looking for Lucas Hattie on the 50-metre sideline. He's going to send this one forward to the goal square. It's high up in the hot spot and leaping high to take the mark is Jed Corbett, unopposed. 20 metres out from goal. He'll line up for his second.
He's got those long arms. Unless you're checking him closely, he's going to trouble his opponents all day with those long arms. Andrew's never going to talk him up, but we know Jed's got the ability to back it up. Having said that, he's faded away again to the right.
Yes, he failed to kick through that one. He stabbed at it.
Brother Riley will get onto him at that quarter time. The lines are 2-3-15. Narandra one behind. 12 and a half gone.
Narandra bring this one in, looking for Pendergast, goes wide, it's gathered there by Nate Hamlin, he sends it back forward and finds his brother Seb, who marks the ball 40 metres out, straight in front. Has he learned anything from his last kick? He just drifted it to the right. Blake Renee playing in defence for the Eagles today, normally spot him in the midfield, but he's on the mark there.
So he's going to have to kick from a little bit more than 50. Comes in on that left foot, given it plenty of height, and he's given this one the direction too. It's a goal, northern end of the ground. The line's 3-3-21. The Eagles one behind, with 13 and a half minutes gone now on the Croker Grain scoreboard. So a pretty good start for the Lions, Andrew, even though half the quarter's gone, or more than half the quarter. The Eagles will need to reply.
Umpire throws it up. Dan Foley taps that one forward. Charging through is Renee, who's come into the midfield now. Ball's on the ground there. Tackled by Zach Kennedy on veering. The ball spills free. And the umpire will ball it up once again. Back in the centre of the ground. Foley and Smith in the ruck. Dan taps that back into the path of Nate Hamlin. Gets a hand pass on to Zach Kennedy. One over the top to Oscar Hattie. He's 40 metres out. Running into goal. And he's dobbed it. His first kick in senior football's resulted in a goal. As the players run to congratulate him, it was a great effort.
Oscar Hattie received the ball, pinned his ears back. He knew what he wanted, and he got what he wanted. A major at the northern end of the ground. Virtually his second or third kick in senior football resulted in a goal. Well done, young fellow.
Well, showed that effort that he does belong at this level. He's had a good pre-season. He's been performing in the under-18s and the under-16s. And
rewards will come for effort.
Dan Foley taps that down. Gathered by Zach Kennedy. He's had his hands on a few possessions, but he's been pinged, caught with the ball. Blake Renee has it in the centre of the ground for Narandra. He elects to go long, down the ground. Sitting under this is Jack Sussay. Almost takes the mark. Matt Foley taps it back to Josh Walsh. The ball spills free. Gathered by Tom Quinn. On to Boston McCree. He goes wide, looking for Lucas Hattie, but it's gone too wide. It's out on the full.
So the Eagles will get a chance to kick it back inside their 50. Right in front of the Gammane Bakery sign there. We enjoy their sponsorship and we enjoy their produce.
As Narandra bring this in, and it's been marked deep in the back line there by Matt Foley, who has his first game in senior football this year, played a couple last year. Chips one out of defence and finds Charlie Smith on half back. He can go over the top to the far wing there to Josh Walsh. He can play on. He can run as far as he likes, but he elects to chip one short to Jack Reynolds. Comes into the centre of the ground and finds Lucas Hattie. It's all the lines here. He goes long to the goal square. It's Jed Corbett and Pendergast. Taps this back inside, but the ball's bounced over the sideline. It'll be a throw-in.
Throw-in out there, right in front of Harris Contracting. So Sean and Brian, those contractors around the Gammain district.
Sean Foley grabs that one out of the ruck, but coming through as Bull for Narandra. He kicks this one forward. It's bounced over the back, but it's gathered by Dan Foley. Goes wide to Lucas Hattie. Comes back to Tom Quinn. Comes to Jack Sussay. The lines are going the wrong way. He chips one wide looking for Dan Foley, but it's just over the sidelines, and it'll be a throw-in.
Over there, of course, we got those Coolaman Chaser bins, and we got Jason Lindsell Electrical. Of course, the countdown's on to the big match against Coolaman next week, but never mind, we've got to get through today first.
Dan Foley taps that down onto Tom Anderson, on to Nate Hamlin, kicks this high looking for Sean Foley. It's gone over the head of his opponent Pendergast, and it rolls over the sidelines. There'll be a throw-in deep in that paddock.
And then we've got a new sponsor there. That's only the second or third game that Sam Hattie's sign has been put up. Thanks, Sam, for coming on board. Sam Hattie Plumbing.
Taps it down, but Narandra clear this one out of defence through Mimo. Good mark to Quilter there, Dale on the wing. Running off his Cable there for the Narandra Eagles. He kicks this one deep into the pocket there of Narandra's forward line, and it's
a game of out of bounds, Andrew, at the moment, from one end of the ground to the other.
Yeah, the ball is moving quite fluently from one end to the other at the moment.
Repeat throw in, southern end of the ground, right in front of the Intersales sign, Case Agriculture.
Narandra's got some quick players off half back there in Cable and Fettle. The ball's thrown in there and it's not going anywhere, and umpire will throw it up. Jack Sussay and his opponent to get a bit argy-bargy. Umpire, don't normally see that from Jack Sussay. He's very subdued, but the ball's thrown up and no one can tap that one down. And Shannon Butterfield's just been pinned for a high tackle on Isaac Carroll.
So a chance here for the Eagles at the southern end of the ground. He's got to kick, round about 45 degrees, and he'll have to kick from about 40 metres. A slight breeze over his right shoulder, which will help him. This will be their first major if he can slot it. So he comes in with that right foot kick, and it's hit the post. So you can't get any closer.
Yeah, Mark Carroll's son Isaac previously played up in Queensland at Maroochydore as Jack Sussay brings this ball in and finds Josh Walsh. He kicks long out to the far side looking for Shannon Butterfield, takes a contested mark. Yes, he's been awarded the mark there. Narandra returned the ball to him. Goes wide looking for Tom Anderson. He marks on the wing there in front of Fettle. You send this long and high. Sitting under this is Jed Corbett. The ball's on the ground there. It's hand pass over the top there to Nate Hamlin. Hand pass on to Zach Kennedy. He tries to poke one through the goals, but it's across the face and through for a behind. He didn't have much room to work in then, but got boot to ball, but it's through for a behind.
So the Lions moved it up to their scoring end fairly quickly that time.
Renee to bring this in. He comes to the clubhouse side. Kicks one high. Coming out to meet it is Smith. It bounces off his chest and it's over the sideline. The umpire will call for a ball up.
Approaching quarter time here at the Den.
Ball thrown in. Smith taps that down. Gathered by Narandra. Ducks under one tackle and the umpire deems to be caught with the ball. Both umpires gave it caught with the ball as Shannon Butterfield takes the kick. Comes inside looking for Tom Quinn. He marks. Still on the wing there. Chips a little one short. Finds Zach Burhop. He's got the sun cream on today. I don't know what for. There's no sun, but this one's kicked forward. Sitting under it is Jed Corbett. Ball's tapped down into the path of Reynolds. Tries to barge through one tackle and kicks around the corner. It's through from behind. The Lions getting plenty of looks at the goals there, but conversion is not where you'd like. 4-5 at the moment.
4-5 plays 2 behinds, 21 and a half minutes gone. It's looking a bit ominous for the Eagles.
Ball brings us in for Narandra to the far side. They take the mark. Send this one long on the wing. Josh Walsh and Pendergast under this one. The ball's on the ground there. Picked up by Burhop. Or Nate Hammer it was. Ball comes back inside to Jack Sussay. He kicks this one forward. It's a 3-on-2 here. Ball spills free. Sitting under this one is Reynolds. Coming through is Underwood. The ball's cleared by Narendra. No mark taken there. Tom Anderson gathers. Gets his hair pass on to Jack Reynolds. But he's deemed to be insufficient disposal there. As Narendra take the kick through O'Brien. He finds Davies. He dodges round one. Chips one up the wing. Looks for Quilter. He marks in front of the broadcasting box. Hand pass one's back to Davies. Chips one short. Durandra control the ball here. Marked. He goes inside. It spills through the hands of Tom Quinn, but numbers there for the Lions. Gabbard, they can't pick it up. The ball's still greasy from that overnight rain, or previous rain this week, and the ball's held up there across half back.
Right on the arc of the Eagles 50, southern end of the ground.
Dan Foley grabs out of the ruck, and marked in front there is Shannon Butterfield. That could have been 50, but no. Umpire says play on. Charlie Smith marks it into the centre of the ground. Gets a hand pass back to Jack Sussay. He's bursting through the centre. Can chip one over the top. The ball's on the ground there. Coming out to meet it is Pendergast, but it's gathered by Seb Hamlin. He swings around on his trusty left. Chips a little one over the top. I don't think that's going to be 15. Play on, says the umpire. Coming through is Narandra there in Lawrence, and he gains a free possession. He didn't have free kick. He didn't have possession. Comes out to the wing and finds Rankin. Narandra controlling this ball at the moment. Next to go long down the line, looking for young Bogue, and he marks in front of Josh Walsh, who had a tug of the jumper there. Gets a hand pass over the top to Cable, who's ran on from half back. Has a running shot for goal. Looking for O'Keefe, but it's across the face of goal and it's out of bounds. Narandra showing good signs there in this second half of this first quarter. Just need to convert as we come to the end of that first quarter.
So quarter time here at the Dens. It's been all the Lions, 4-5-29. The Eagles have only managed 2 behinds. So former Lions player, former Maroons and Lions player in the coach Mark Carroll, he'll have to have some deep words of wisdom to his Narandra Eagles players, Andrew, here at quarter time, to see how they're going to combat this free running Lions side here today. Good contributors all around the ground there for the Lions in that quarter, although Andrew did mention they wasted a few possessions, so Riley will be onto them about that in the huddle at quarter time. So we'll have a drink and a break, and we'll bring you the second quarter shortly. So the Lions are in position for the start of the second quarter here, and the Eagles have just broken from their huddle. They've got some words of wisdom from Coach Mark Carroll. Let's see how they go in this second quarter, Andrew. Lions well on top, 4-5-29, Eagles 2 behinds.
So young Riley Bogues starting at full forward in this second term for the Naranda Eagles with Stuart Bull on the sidelines there at the moment as the umpire throws this up. Dan Foley taps that one down into the arms of Tom Anderson. He's wrapped up in a tackle there by Isaac Carroll. Another ball up. Dan Foley taps it down into the path of Shannon Butterfield. Grabbed by Smith there for the Eagles. He sends this one forward. It's along the ground. Coming out to meet is Jack Sasse, but it's gathered by there. Dale Quilter kicks this one forward. Gathered by Tom Quinn. Hand passes out wide to Zach Burhop. Swings around on his right. Kicks around the corner and finds Dan Foley, who's spread from that centre bounce to the far wing. Comes inside to Jack Sasse. Marks in front of the scoreboard. Can go out wide to Tom Quinn on his own there. The Lions edge this one forward. He comes into the centre of the ground looking for Dan Foley. The Lions racking up possessions. He comes across the ground to Colby Hamlin on the wing. On the clubhouse side, he goes forward, but his kicks hit the ground there. Coming out to meet it is Nate Hamlin. He's wrapped up in a strong tackle there by Smith. James Smith, and the umpire will ball it up. Dan Foley taps that back. Gathered by Naranda there. He's tackled, and the umpire will call for a ball up. His young Rankin, as the ball's tapped down by Foley to Tom Anderson, tries to get a kick away off the ground. It goes forward, but coming out to meet it is Renee's tackled there by Seb Hamlin. Gets his kick away into the middle of the ground. Coming to meet it is Matt Foley. Gathers, hand passes on to Brad Matters. Kicks high to the goal square. Sitting under this one is Sean Foley. Mark not taken by Pendergast, but on to Renee as Nate Hamlin tries to kick this one forward to Oscar Hattie's tackled there in the goal square, gets his hand pass away. Sean Foley goes to barge through but leaves the ball. Spills free, and it's a free kick to Narandra. Bull, Kyle, he'll take it from the goal square. Got nothing. It's a 50-metre penalty now. He'll come out to centre half back to take his kick. Kyle Bull sends this one long forward for Narandra. Spoiled there by Tom Anderson, who almost takes the mark from behind. He's asking the umpire, but the umpire's going to ball it up.
Tom was of the opinion that he marked it, Andrew, but the umpire said, no, you didn't.
Dan Foley taps that down to Tom Anderson, tries to break the tackle, gets his hand pass away onto Jake Underwood. He gathers the ball in, but he's tackled, set up on by the Narandra footballers there, and the umpire will ball it up. Cluster of players around this one as Dan Foley grabs it out of the ruck, kicks it around the corner on his right. The ball bounces over the head, but gathered by Renee. He goes to clear this one out on his opposite leg, and the ball comes into the path of Zach Burhop. He gathers, gets a hair pass back inside to Butterfield, breaks one tackle, gets a hair pass, but it's gathered by Narandra through Mimo. He goes forward looking for Dale Quiddle. He can't mark. It's over the head of Boston McCree. Gathered by Narandra there in the cable. He's tackled, breaks one and kicks forward, but pushing back to cut it off is Boston McCree, and he runs through the behinds, and it'll be a behind for the Narandra Eagles. Jack Sussay to take the kick. Plays on, goes wide, finds some Matt Foley. Goes wide again. He's got Josh Walsh on a strong lead. He kicked one over the top to Dan Foley, who seems to be everywhere in the centre of the ground at the moment. Coming through was Butterfield, looking for Jake Underwood. Goes through his hands. Pendergast can't pick this one up. It spills free. It comes out the back to Renee. Dodges around one. Gets a hand pass in the centre of the ground to Nimmo. He's got plenty of space in front of him. Takes one bounce. Can send this long, but it's smothered. Good anticipation by Jack Sussay. Gathered by Isaac Carroll. He's taken in a strong tackle there by Jack Sussay. Play on, says the umpire. Gathered by Tom Anderson on to Jack Reynolds. He sends this one forward. He's tackled. The umpire almost blows the whistle for a free kick downfield, but he's awarded a mark to James O'Brien. He kicks one forward, and it just bounces over the sign. It'll be as they say in AFL terms, a lasso kick as Jed Corbett plays on quickly from the mark. Sends this long, looking for Burhop in the goal square, but he can't mark. The ball spills free. Gathered by Davies there. The ball's tried to be picked up there by Nate Hamlin. He's tackled high, comes out the back to Jake Underwood. He cops one high. Had his head over the ball there, and O'Brien's just given away a head-high bump on Jake Underwood, and he'll get the free kick.
Well,
30 metres out.
The initial play over here, right under the box, Andrew. Bad blue by the Eagles player. He didn't look at the umpire. The umpire circled last touch, so it was a kick to the Lions, and that's why it got over there. So, and he didn't come round and mark his player. So Jed Corbett was able to play on, and now we're watching
Jake Underwood
convert the goal at the southern end of the ground. The point I was making, that's how it got across to Jake Underwood. Just a bad blue there from the Eagles.
So the Lions
are now 5-5. Eagles yet to score a major, 3 behinds with nearly 6 minutes gone here in the second term. So the pressure's on the Eagles here to get on the board with a major. No doubt about it that tackle was illegal on Jake Underwood.
Back to the centre of the ground. Dan Foley taps this one forward. Tap on from Charlie Smith to Jack Reynolds. He sends this one high. It's going to go over the back of the pack here. Jed Corbett gathers and slots through another one for the Lions. That's Jed Corbett's second.
And he's read it well. He's performed a roving task there. The ball carried the pack. The Lions are 6-5, 41. The Eagles 3 behinds. Not quite 7 minutes gone here in a very gloomy afternoon here at the Den. Rain on the forecast, but I don't think it'll come during the game.
Dan Foley dominating in the ruck here for the Lions. He's had a couple of quiet weeks by Dan's standards, but he's lifted today.
He might have enjoyed the bye by the look of it, Andrew.
Yes, he's recuperated. He's everywhere, and he taps that beautifully down the back to Tom Anderson. He sends this one high, looking for Sean Foley. He takes a strong mark in front of Pendergast. And Sean Foley will go back and line up for his first of the game.
Great bit of body work there in the lead up to that mark by Sean Foley. He worked his opponent away from the flight of the ball, and he was good enough to hold the mark. And he's good enough to slot the major. Good effort, Sean.
So Sean missed all of last year with that foot injury, and he's returned. Had a few games in the reserves, and he's been called up today as his cousin Nick O'Brien gives him a little bit of a shove, a little bit of a cousinly bump.
Good to see the 3 Kawabi brothers in the Kawabi Pamandi side, in the line side today.
Well, talking to Joe, he's not that far away in his return as well, so we could add 4 there today as free kick to Narandra in veering.
They might beat the Danahers before the year's out with 4 in the side, Andrew.
Yes, that's right. Ball's kicked forward. It's through the arms of Bo, gathered by Jack Sasse. He's tackled, and the umpire will call for a ball up.
I shouldn't say beat the Danahers, but equal there. 4 that played for Essendon.
As Narandra tried to gather this one out of the ruck, and it's wrapped up there, young Cable. And the umpire called for a ball up there, edging closer to goal there. Dan Foley taps that one wide into the path of Tom Quinn. He can't gather, goes through the legs of Jack Reynolds, and it's over the sideline for a throw-in.
And of course we enjoy the sponsorship out there from the Gammain Sports Club. We'll be up there tonight after the game for a cold one and a meal and a bit of a social activity.
Dan Foley wins the tap down to Jack Reynolds, who wraps up Isaac Carroll there in a strong tackle. The umpires call for a ball up. Dan Foley taps it down. Kick forward there by O'Keefe for Narandra. Coming out to meet it is Josh Walsh. He can't gather as Veering tries to break around one tackle. Kicks this one high to the goal square. but the umpire's calling it back. It went out of bounds. Ball's been picked up there and a shot on goal by Narendra.
One behind
One
result,
behind.
Andrew. They can't buy a goal, the Eagles.
Jack Sussay to bring this one in. Of course, we forget about Luke Foley, the second Foley boy. He was a handy enough footballer before he became a doctor in Melbourne. And it would have been, unbelievable if Luke was here to play with his four brothers. But Narendra get the kick here through veering on the half-forward flank. Plenty of players back in that 50-metre mark. He wobbles one forward here and it falls into the arms of Dan Foley. Wasn't his best kick. And he marks in defence there for the Lions. Goes forward and finds Tom Anderson at centre-half back. He plays on. Can go wide to the far side. He's got Tom Quinn on a searching run. Chased by Dorr. He gathers. Swings around on his left looking for Sean Foley. But coming out to spoil is Darcy Pendergast for the Eagles.
We're going to have a throw in right out there in front of the Gleneath Border Leicesters, the Kemba family.
Sean Foley and Smith in the ruck, but the umpire's asked the boundary umpire to throw it in again.
Yeah, he's asked him to come in a few metres to get a bit more ground. That's a better one.
Sean Foley taps that down. It's gathered there by Narendra. Breaking through is Isaac Carroll. He clears one high to the far side. Tussle there between Archie Bogue and Tom Quinn, but it comes back inside to Nate Hamlin into the centre of the ground to Lucas Hattie. Kicks this one forward looking for Jed Call, but it's a 2-on-1 here. Spoiled by Pendergrass. Grabbed by Zach Kennedy there and he's wrapped up in a tackle.
The Eagles have to defend grimly here as the Lions surge forward. Ball up 30 metres out from the goal, southern end of the ground.
Sean Foley taps that down. The ball's on the ground there, gathered by Jake Underwood. He gets his hand pass away. Nate Hamlin's taken high and he'll get a free kick. 40 metres out from goal. Straight in front.
Eagles player,
it's Seb.
Eagles player threw his head back, a bit disgusted with that umpire's decision, but I think we can all see that one was there, fair and square. He's right across the shoulder. So the one-time backman, or the most-time backman, he's played most of his career in the first grade in the back line, lines it up, kicks a goal at the southern end of the ground. The Lions move on to 8-5-53. The Eagles are 4 solitary behinds here with 13 minutes gone in the second term. Just not sure where it's going to come from the Eagles, Andrew. I just can't see where they're...
Yes, they're getting their share of the ball, but that line defence all year it's been solid.
Yep.
You got the experience there of Burhop and Jack Sussay and Josh Walsh, and then the newcomers there, as well as Tom Quinn and Matt Foley today, and the last few weeks Boston McCree.
Yeah, they're formidable backline.
Another ball up in the centre of the ground there. Dan Foley taps it back, looking for Nate Hamlin, who's given away a free kick to Darcy Mimo there. The umpires call play on. Renee sends this forward. It's over the head of Boston McCree. Race to the ball there by Riley Bogue. He gathers, swings around on his left and gets his hand pass away, but it's out of bounds, or throw in.
Gives a chance there for the Eagles to get there in numbers and support.
Umpire asks the boundary umpire to throw it in again. Dan Foley and Quilter in the ruck. The ball comes down into the path of Isaac Carroll. He's tackled back to Quilter, back to Cable. He's tackled and the ball spills free. Play on, says the umpire, and it's wrapped up there 30 metres out from the Narendra goal. Dan Foley taps that down, but coming through is Narendra there, and they've held up Boston McCree. Have a throw up. Dan Foley grabs this out of the ruck. Gets a hand pass out to a vacant Shannon Butterfield. He kicks this forward looking for Jed Corbett. O'Brien uses his body, nudges him under the ball, gathered by Renee. He slips and tackled. And the umpire says play on. He gets his hand pass away. Coming through is Zach Kennedy. He's tackled. The ball spills 3. Umpires are letting this one go, and it's going to ball it up there on the wing in front of the broadcasting box. Dan Foley taps it back, looking for Shannon Butterfield, but coming through is O'Keefe. Veering's kick is smothered. Coming through is Oscar Hattie. Cable breaks one tackle, kicks this one forward. Coming out to meet it is Boston McCree. Leaps high, gathers it, and chips a short one to Brad Matters, who marks in front of the Narendra box. Next to go back inside, finds Dan Foley. He can switch here. Finds Boston McCree. Gets his kick away. He has time. Goes long, looking for Seb Hamlin. He marks in the centre of the ground. Swings around on his left. Looks for Josh Walsh on the half-forward flank. Sends this one high, but it's all Renee. He takes the mark. Been good for the Eagles back in defence. He's kick smothered in the goal square. Gathered by Jed Corbett. And he's swooped on it and snapped around the corner and gets his third.
Well, Jed Corbett's not going to let you off lightly. You've made a mistake.
It was a good smother by Jake Underwood there.
A good smother. Just goes to show that if you keep the pressure on, right when you think the ball's been taken away from you, all of a sudden your teammate's got it back. The Lions, 9-5-59. The Eagles still stuck on 4 behinds. 17 minutes gone here at the Den.
That's 5 goals for the quarter for the Lions.
How many for Jed now, Andrew?
3 goals for Jed Corbett, 3-1.
Right. Well, the Lions are sharing it around.
Yes, had 6 individual goal scorers so far.
They're pretty good like that.
Back to the centre of the ground. Dan Foley taps that back, but it's into the path of young Henry Cable. He's wrapped up in a tackle by Nate Hamlin. It'll be another ball up. Dan Foley tries to grab it out of the ruck. He's tackled, and the umpires call for a ball up. Dan Foley taps that forward. Gets a kick away onto Jake Underwood. He can't pick it up. He's tackled by Cable. Gets his kick forward there into the path of Rankin. He's tackled by Shannon Butterfield. And the umpire will call for a ball up on the clubhouse wing side. Dan Foley taps it back to Tom Anderson. Hand passes over the top to Colby Hamlin. He goes wide looking for his brother Seb, puts it out in front of him and Kyle Bull. Bull tries to tap it back through Hamlin's legs, but he regathers. Breaks the tackle. No, he's deemed to be insufficient disposal there, and free kick to Kyle Bull. On that half-back flank, he chips one over the top looking for Isaac Carroll. He marks it on the wing, swings around on his right. Sends this one long and wide. Coming out to meet it is Josh Walsh, and he's happy to put it over the sideline.
So ball in out there right in front of Regal Signs, Coolerman. They do most of the work of the images we see for these fence signs. Does a great job.
Ball's thrown in, tapped over the back by Dan Foley. Coming through is Tom Quinn. He's tackled, and the umpire ball it up. Up it goes. Dan Foley swats it forward into the path of Veering there, and he just cops one to the head. He'll get the free kick on that wing. Looks to come inside, looking for Fettel. He marks in the centre of the ground. Swings around on his left. Sends this one forward, but coming out to meet it is Matt Foley. Marks in front of O'Keefe. He can swing wide and finds Jack Reynolds. front of door. He kicks it over the top and finds Zach Burhop. He can play on here. His kick is smothered. The ball's over the sideline and it'll be a throw in.
Throw in will take place just right below us here in front of the commentary position, which is sponsored by Jake Woods Shearing from Wagga.
Dan Foley taps it down. It's gathered by Davies there. Smith tries to kick it forward onto Reynolds. Hand pass one's over the top to Underwood, onto a running Shannon Butterfield. Has a flying shot at goal, but it's just drifted to the right. Through from behind.
Another high possession player too, Andrew, for the Lions this year.
Yes, he's had a good year, Shannon Butterfield, taking on that midfield responsibility with of Matt Hamling moving across to the Sandful, along with Jake Fairmans. So Renee brings this in, finds Bull. He's unopposed. He can kick this long out to the far wing. He's got Pendergast long and far, but it's spoiled by Seb Hamlin. He gathers, swings one way, then the next. Hand passes on to Shannon Butterfield, back to Seb Hamlin. He's corralled. He has to go back to Lucas Hattie. No, it's Colby Hamlin, his brother. Sends this forward looking for Sean Foley. Through the path of Davies. Tackle there by Nate Hamlin. He can go back to Renee, all on his own in the 50 there for Narandra Eagles. And it's going to be 50. He hasn't been called to play on there, and Nate Hamlin steps over the mark. He'll be marched forward 50 metres to the centre of the ground.
Yeah, Nate just assumed that the player had played on, but the umpire's got to call it.
But then it's been a missed kick by Renee. Into the arms of Jack Reynolds. On to Tom Anderson. Sends this one long, looking for Jed Corbett in the pocket. He can't mark, and the ball's over the sidelines.
And a throw in out there, we've got Romano's Hotel. That's the where the Lions gather when they're in Wagga. I think they've got a function coming up on the next game in Wagga.
Foley, Sean in front, taps that one forward. It's into the path of Isaac Carroll. He tries to gather the ball. He fell into the knee of young Oscar Hattie, and umpire deemed that he was pushed, but it was more of a fall. Anyway, it's a free kick to the Eagles. The ball goes wide. Gathered by Cable there. Sterling, he takes one bounce and he's off. Chased by Tom Anderson. Kicks this one forward looking for Riley Bogue. He uses his body well and takes a mark there on half forward flank for the Narandra Eagles. Send this one up to the top of the goal square. Sitting under this is Dan Foley. Almost marked there by O'Keefe. Coming through is Brad Matters. He's tackled. Gets a hand pass away. On to Jack Reynolds. He pumps one forward. Over the head of Jed Corbett. It's coming through as Nate Hamlin. Grabbed by Seb Hamlin. He wheels around in the centre of the ground. Hand pass is looking for Jed Corbett. He got the ball at the 50. Has a running shot at goal. And he slotted it through for the Lions. That's his fourth. A late goal in this second term for the Lions.
The Lions are
6 for the quarter.
Lions are 10-6, 66. The Eagles are 4 behinds with 23 and a half minutes gone. Jed Corbett could kick a bag today, Andrew.
Now he has 4 already, so far.
Well, that's half a bag. In my terms, anyway. The Eagles don't look like a major. Just can't get a major.
Dan Foley leaps high, taps that one down. Pouncing on the ball is Tom Anderson. He gets a little hand pass away, but Charlie Smith's wrapped up in a tackle and the umpire called for a ball up.
Andrew, I'd love $1 for every time you've mentioned Foley, Anderson, Foley, Anderson.
Yes, they've been very prominent today as Nate Hamlin charges through. Gets a hand pass forward, and that's over the shoulder there. It's a free kick to Narandra in Blake Lawrence. Gets a hand pass to Renee. He swings around, brings it towards the clubhouse side. Spoil there by Zach Burhop was good. Coming through is Jed Corbett. Ball's on the ground there, and he's tackled. And the umpire will call for a ball up.
Andrew, perhaps Zach's got that cream on in preparation for Wimbledon.
Yes, he loves his tennis, being a tennis coach. As the balls come through there, Jack Reynolds has shoved out of the way. Vettel comes through, but it's gathered by Dan Foley. Gets a hand pass out to Brad Mattis. Looks for Jed Corbett. It's at his toes. He oversteps it. Gathered by Mimo. Hand pass away to Renee. He's got that trusty left foot, but he can't use it. Hand pass wildly onto Asker. Hattie onto Seb Hamlin has a running shot at goal. And it's another one to Seb Hamlin. That's his third, right on the half-time siren. Good quarter for the Lions.
Cool little hand pass under pressure there. Well, what pressure the Eagles can put on the Lions here, but Oscar Hattie flicked that hand pass across to Seb Hamlin for a goal right on the siren here at half-time here at the Den, which sees the Lions 11-6, 72. The Eagles 4 behinds. So once again, the Eagles will be looking for some sort of inspiration. They go in the sheds and get some inspiration at half-time here. Riley Corbett will be very happy with his Lions performance here as they work towards that big clash next week at Kindra Park, Coolerman. So commentators, camera operators and technicians will take a break. Andrew will go in the sheds and see what's been bandied around and bring to you what news he can in the third quarter.
There's just a couple of scores in those that may be listening there. Currently at quarter time, Leeton Witten lead Turvey Park 25-6. And in the other game in the west between Griffith and Wagga Tigers, it's Griffith 20, Wagga Tigers 12.
Well, that's a bit of a turn up if that can hold up, Andrew.
Yes, my word, Guy.
See you for the third quarter. So we're back in preparation for the third quarter here at the Den, and we've just got information from President Ben Cruikshank that the raffle, so far the proceeds from the raffle for the MND cause are up to $2,000 with a quarter to go. So it could well get in the vicinity of $2,500, which would be a great result here today for a country footy game, for a raffle to get up to that value. Andrew, any news from the sheds?
No, well, the coach took the players into the gymnasium and closed the door, obviously to talk tactics, so there wasn't much I could gather from the game so far, but talking to general supporters, they were very pleased with the first half. And the Lions would continue to do so in this second half as the ball's thrown up to start this third quarter. And coming through is Tom Anderson. He's tackled high, breaks one onto his Jack Reynolds. Ball spills three, gathered by Cable, sends a big high kick forward. Ball's going to bounce into the goal square as young Henry Cable throws a boot at it, and it's through for a behind. Jack Sussay quickly on the brings it back into play, finds Matt Foley, kicks one forward, over the top there and gathered by Zach Burhop onto Jack Sussay, back to Zach Burhop. He's chased heavily by O'Keefe, back to Reynolds onto Burhop as he charges through the centre of the ground, looking for Sean Foley, but it goes over his head and it's marked by Darcy Pendergast. He goes into the centre of the ground, but it's cut off by Jack Reynolds. He sends this one long and low, looking for Jed Corbett. The ball's on the ground there. He gathers, breaks one way, then the other, swings around on his right, looks for Jake Underwood. The umpire calls play on, not 15, and it'll be a ball up there at centre half forward. Lions looking to get the first score on the board in this, or the first goal on the board in this third quarter as Sean Foley goes up with James Smith, and the ball's on the ground there. It'll be another ball up.
It was the right idea from Jed Corbett there to pass it on, but just not enough space in between.
Coming through is Tom Anderson, but gathered by Cable there onto Seb Hamlin. Looks one way, then the next, and then he's tackled, but he gets his kick away just in time. Gathered by Renee. He also zigs and zags. Ankle break in time out there at the moment as the ball's kicked out of defence by Renee. And it's marked by Henry Cable. He swings around on his right, comes through the centre of the ground, fades one tackle, then on to his teammate there, back to Cable, then on to Mimo. He just spills it, but Cable gathers it again. This will be a great goal if he can kick it, and he sends it high. And he has Slotted it through. Great goal by Henry Cable. Gives Narandra their first goal.
So the Eagles have waited for the first 2 minutes of the third quarter to get their first major on the scoreboard. The Lions are 11-6-72. The Eagles are 3-5-23 on the Croker Grain scoreboard here at the Den. Pretty good effort there from the Eagles, Andrew. They really showed desperation there. Broke a few lines there for the Lions then. So they've just got to do more repeat plays of that.
Yes, he just never gave up there. Started on half-back and he kept in the contest and then snapped a great goal from centre-half forward, giving Narandra their first goal.
If anything, judging by the flags, the breeze might have picked up a little bit from the north. So the Eagles need to make use of that this quarter.
Back to the centre of the ground. Dan Foley taps it back into the path for Jack Reynolds. He's tackled, his arms are pinned, and umpire will call for a ball up. Narandra going man on man there in the centre bounces. Dan Foley taps that back, coming through as Lucas Hattie gets a quick kick away onto Shannon Butterfield. Back to Lucas Hattie. Chips one forward looking for Zach Kennedy. Tries to gather. Can't hold onto it. Ball spills free, gathered by O'Brien. His hand pass is smothered. Lucas Hattie tries to break one tackle, can't get a kick away. Play on, says the umpire. Davies gathers, kicks it forward there for Narandra, and that's good use of the body there by Brad Matters. He marks across half-back, goes into the centre of the ground there, looking for Nate Hamlin. He finds him, he's got Burhop wide, but he elects to go to Burhop. He's on the 50 there for the Lions. He marks in front of Rankin of Narandra. Probably a little bit too far out to score. He indicates to his forwards to come at him.
Yeah, he'd have to kick. He's kicking outside the 50.
Now he goes back for his kick. Not much of a run-up. Runs around his opponent. Sends this long and high. It's going to go all the way.
Proved us wrong, Andrew.
Yes, he's proved us all wrong. And it's a good goal to Zach Burhop. He's first of the game.
No, he bought himself a little bit of real estate, going a little bit wide of the man on the mark, and it paid off. It carried the goal umpire. Lovely drop punt, northern end of the ground. The Lions are 12-6-78. Eagles 3-5-23. 5 minutes gone. Third term. So a quick reply to that Eagles goal from the Lions.
Dan Foley and James Smith in the ruck. Dan Foley taps it back. Grabbed by Tom Anderson. Narandra are onto him straight away as Reynolds kicks this one forward. And it's marked, though, by Rene on that half-back flank. He's been very good for the Eagles today. Kicks this one forward. Looking for Ethan Ryan. He can't pick it up, but gathered by Jack Sussay. Kicks one forward and finds Nate Hamlin, who marks just inside the boundary. And he'll take the kick on that wing in front of the scoreboard. Kicks this one high. Sitting under it is Jed Corbett. He leaps high up on the shoulders of his Narandra opponent O'Brien. He takes a good mark. And he'll go back and line up for his fifth.
It was a good mark. Really good mark. And speaking of marks, even it wasn't filmed, but there was a spectacular mark in the second grade here today too, Andrew. I don't know the player, but...
Yes, it was a very good mark, Guy, by that chap in the reserves for Narandra. Jed Corbett comes in, and he's just kicked it to the right. That's his second behind of the game. 4-2 so far. As Kyle Bull plays on from the goal square. Kicks it long and high to the wing. Sitting under it is Smith. Uses his body on Boston McCree, but Jack Reynolds takes the mark. Kicks one forward, looking for Jed Corbett at centre for half forward. And he comes out to mark 50 metres from goal.
The man on the mark is just inside of the arc of the 50, so Jed will have to unload outside the 50. Kicking to the northern goal with a slight breeze in his face. Ball fades away to the right for one behind. The Lions are 12,880. Eagles 3,523.
Renee brings us back in for the Eagles. He goes wide, finds Quilter, but he just fumbles the mark over the sideline.
Spilt the second grab over the sidelines out there. That gives me a chance to plug our sponsors, Regional Hydraulics, that's Jason Hamlin, and Ag and Vet Services. Got those businesses at Grongrong and Gammain.
Ball's thrown in. Big tackle there by Butterfield on Cable there of Narandra.
Yeah, his Eagles opponent not in possession at that stage.
So Sterling Cable with the ball across half back for Narandra. Kicks this one long and high, looking for O'Keefe. Spoiled by Josh Walsh. Onto Matt Foley to his brother Dam. He kicks one wide, finds Jack Reynolds just inside the boundary line there. Can chip along the line to Brad Matters. He marks. Send this long and high, looking for Jed Corbett at centre half forward, and he marks it on his chest. 40 metres out from goal.
Now, Jed Corbett is more than a handful for these Eagles players this afternoon. He will have to kick from around about 42 to 43 metres. So he's kicking to the northern end. Slight breeze in his face, comes in, right foot. That's faded away to the right too. One behind.
Hit the post.
Hit the post. Didn't see that.
So Renee to bring this back in for the Eagles. Goes wide to the scoreboard side, looking for Darcy Pendergast. Takes a good mark. Big, tall, young lad. Kicks long. Looking for Riley Bogue, another tall for Narandra, bounces over his head. Racing for the ball is Tom Anderson. Zigzags one way and the other, then back to Boston McCree. Gets a hand pass on to Dan Foley. He's tied up on the boundary line there, kicks it long and finds Colby Hamlin on that far wing. Elects to come back into the centre of the ground. He's got numbers here in Josh Walsh. Jack Susse's bursts through. He can kick to Zach Burhop here as the Lions switch. And he can pass one on to Oscar Hattie, who's marked on the 50. Kicks long and low and finds Charlie Smith in a good position. He's about 30 out on a slight angle.
That was a deft little pass there from Oscar Hattie to Charlie Smith.
He lowered the eyes. Done well. Hasn't made a mistake, the young fella, in his first game of senior football.
No, he's crossing the T's and dotting the I's, Andrew.
Charlie Smith, that customary run up, it's kicked this one high, but umpire likes it, and it's Charlie Smith's first goal of the game. He ran out to the right, and the ball was heading right, but it swung back at the last moment. And that's the Lions' second goal of the third quarter.
So the Lions continue on their merry way. 13-9, 87. The Eagles are 3-5-23. They can't be 3-5. They're 1-5-11. Yeah, I've given them a couple of goals that shouldn't be goals.
Back to the centre of the ground. Dan Foley taps this down, but coming through is Darcy Mimo for Narandra. Tom Anderson dives on the ball. Hand passes off the ground to Dan Foley. On to Jack Reynolds, looking for Jed Corbett. He leaps high and he's marked 30 metres out from goal. It's about his third or fourth mark for this third term. He's lining up for his third shot on goal, I think. He's kicked 4-4 at the moment.
And we're only a bit over halfway through the third term, Andrew, so there's power to add.
That's a much better kick off the boot, and it's straight through the middle, over the goal umpire's head, and that's his fifth.
14-9, 93, 1-5-11, 12 minutes gone. Unfortunately, not much more than a training drill here for the Lions.
percentage boosting game. As I say, back at half of the year, things could get tight in that top 5. As Dan Foley is beaten in the ruck that time by his cousin James Smith, but Darcy Mimo just catches Nate Hamlin high. He elects to play on. He's been called to play on quickly now. He goes wide to his brother Colby with those bright pink boots. Kicks one forward looking for Charlie Smith. He races for the ball, he gathers, a hand passes back to Jack Sussay, kicks one inside on his left and finds Jake Underwood. He kicks one long and low, looking for Matt Foley, who's swung down from half back, but it's gone to Shannon Butterfield, and he's had a run and shot on goal, and he's just drifted to the left. So the back line of the Lions trying to get in on the action at the moment.
Everyone's a forward, Andrew, today.
Blake Renee to take his kick in. Takes a bounce. Likes to kick long and wide to the scoreboard side. Sitting under this is Pendergast. And he's been held. He'll take possession. He gets the free kick. He's going to have to kick long and line. Dodges around the man on the mark. Kicks one long and low and finds Ryan. Chip one over the top, looking for Riley Bogue. The ball's on the ground there. Diving in on it is Charlie Smith. Gets a hand pass back to Dan Foley. Hand passes one to Colby Hamlin. Then on to Nate Hamlin. Then on to Charlie Smith. A hand pass to Oscar Hattie. Bursting forward there. Kicks one over the top, looking for Zach Kennedy. Jed Corbett tries to pick one up off his toes. Gets a hand pass out to Sean Foley, on to Jake Underwood. Swings around on his left. Breaks the tackle of Renee inside to Colby Hamlin. Onto a running Nate Hamlin. Has a running shot at goal. And he slotted it through for the Lions. Just too slick, the Lions, on that occasion.
That's just the right word for that occasion, Andrew. The Lions were just slick with their ball handling. Way too good for the Eagles backline under that occasion, on that occasion. The Croker Grain scoreboard sees the Lions 15-10, 100. The Eagles 1-5-11.
I'd love to have the Premier data stats on Dan Foley so far today. He's dominated in the tap-outs and he's had countless possessions around the ground. I'd say he'd be very high as balls comes down in that ruck contest. On to Nate Hamlin, back to Lucas Hattie. Gets a hand pass around the corner to Nate Hamlin. On to Shannon Butterfield. On to Dan Foley. Chips one long and low, looking for Jed Corbett and finds him in the pocket. He'll go back and have a shot on goal. It's a pretty tight angle. 30 metres out. The only thing he hasn't done today, Dan Foley, has been in a position to kick goals. He's been rucking virtually all day. I haven't seen him have a break.
He might get a spell up there shortly and get an opportunity, Andrew. Baz is right behind Jed Corbett. He kicks from the left forward pocket, northern end of the ground. Just offline on that occasion.
He's going 1 for 1. 1 goal, 1 behind. 5 goals, 5 behinds for the game. As Renee goes to bring this back in for the Eagles. He elects to come to this side of the ground. It kick's going to just go out of bounds. And it'll be a free kick to Shannon Butterfield. He just hooked that one a little bit too much.
Nothing going right for the Eagles.
60 metres from goal. He's going to put this up to the hot spot, I'd say. Ball's kicked in high. Going over the back. It's gathered by Zach Kennedy. Swings one around the corner. And he slotted it through. Great crumbing goal.
The Lions now 15-12, 102. Eagles 1-5-11. The Croker Grain scoreboard. Virtually what you call a 7-point goal, Andrew. They missed one and then they got the rebound.
Yeah. Yes, now they've got their act together in the second half of this third quarter now, the Lions. That's their 5th goal of the quarter.
It's a long day for the Eagles.
Ball thrown up. Dan Foley taps that one down. Tom Anderson's tackled in the centre of the ground there. Copped one to the bridge of the nose, but the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up. Taps one down to Tom Anderson again. They've read that very well, that is midfielders to Dan Foley's taps today, and it's marked by Seb Hamlin there at centre half forward. He'll go back and have a shot. Going to have to kick it from 50. Comes in on his approach. Elects to pass one off to Zach Kennedy, who's marked in the pocket. He can play on. Has a shot. And he has missed it. Had everyone fooled.
Yeah, the pass was well disguised by Seb. Only two guys knew about it, the kicker and the marker.
So late in this third term, Lions in control. Renee to bring it back in for the Eagles. Comes to the clubhouse side, kicks this high. Boston McCree's up high, almost takes a mark. Gathered by Lucas Hattie, hand passes back inside, and he's deemed to be caught one high in that attempted smother there, and he'll take the free kick in front of the canteen. He's got Nate Hamlin on his own on centre forward there. He marks. Looks for Tom Anderson. It's gone over his head, and it's marked by Stuart Bull there. He goes wide, looking for Boston McCree. Spoil on O'Keefe there. The ball's on the ground. He breaks one tackle, kicks it forward. Gathered by Bogue. He can't get his hand pass away. Diving in on the ball there is Carroll for the Eagles, and the umpire will call for a ball up. O'Keefe taps that forward. Gathered by Cable. Kicks one off the ground. Sterling gets a hand pass over the top, looking for Kyle Bull, but it's going to beat him over the sidelines. It'll be a throw in.
He just ran out of real estate there. He was probably that excited. They were going to get a chance to score, but the ball beat him. We'll have a throw in there. We've got great sponsors there. Coolman Butchery, John Bance and Flynn Design for those sheep and cattle yards.
Dan Foley grabs out of the ruck, onto Josh Walsh, onto Brad Matters, goes wide. Looking for Colby Hamlin's been stolen by Henry Cable. Gets one back to Isaac Carroll. He quickly kicks it forward, and fortuitously it's marked by James Smith there at centre forward for the Eagles. He's gonna kick this long into the goal square.
He'll have to kick from the 50. So the kick will come right from the arc of the 50, southern end of the ground. It's a very high drop punt. Through for one behind.
Through all players and through from behind.
Bowled the lot of them.
Bowled a lot of them. Jack Sussay brings it in quick onto Josh Walsh. Takes a bounce on that far side. Kicks one forward to Colby Hamlin. He marks on the wing. He can come into the centre of the ground. Finds Shannon Butterfield. He can turn again and finds Jack Reynolds. The Lions looking to switch here. He comes wide looking for Boston McCree. Bit of hang time in that one, but he marks it just in time. He's got Lucas Hattie available on the wing, but he goes short to Matt Foley. And he kicks this one high looking for Jed Corbett. And he's marked. He's pinched it off Blake Renee, much to his disgust, and he'll go back and have a shot 40 metres out. Going to have to kick it from 50.
Az has got this image, so we're right behind Jed Corbett. Comes in. Once again, he's offline. Doesn't carry the distance. Ball still in play.
The ball's cleared by Narandra to the far side. Is gathered by Colby Hamlin there on the wing. Sends it back in looking for Tom Anderson at centre forward. Spoiled there by Charlie Smith. He tackled on Renee, gets a kick away. Coming out to meet it is Isaac Carroll, and he's been tackled without possession. And the umpire award a free kick there at centre half back for the Eagles.
The Eagles look to clear from their defensive 50.
He elects to go across goal, finds Darcy Pendergast. Next to come back inside, looking for O'Keefe, and finds him at centre half forward. He's been dealt with by Matt Foley, but the umpire says stand your mark there. He goes back into the centre of the ground and finds Ethan Ryan. Three players here everywhere for Narandra, marked by Lawrence. He goes wide, but he's given this one plenty of airtime. Sitting under is Boston McCree. He can't take the mark. Gathered by Rankin. He slips. He's tackled by Sasse. Coming through is Narandra there. Without possession is Cable. And he'll take the free kick shot on goal. Can't be much time left in this third quarter.
Might be a little bit of redemption there from that untimely slip. Once again, we've got a great view of it. We're right behind him as the Eagles search for their second major of the game at the southern end of the ground. He'll come in and kick on his right foot. He looks to me to kick truly.
And he's got it.
He's got it.
That's his second goal for the game. Been a live wire up there for Narandra today when the opportunity has arose.
Yeah, he's tried his heart out. On the Croker Grange scoreboard, it's the Lions 15-13, 103. The Eagles are 2-6-18. Siren any minute to sound three-quarter time. Baz is reminding us that it's getting darker still. Those lights might come on in the last quarter, Baz.
Back to the centre of the ground, Dan Foley and James Smith. James Smith gets up higher that time and taps it down as Reynolds met solidly and tackled. And the umpire will call for a ball up. Umpire throws it up. Dan Foley taps it to himself, grabs it out of the ruck, kicks it forward. Race for the ball here by young Rankin. Keeps it out in front of him. Coming through is Shannon Butterfield. He gathers, breaks one tackle, and he's incorrect disposal there, and the ball will go to Veering. Goes into the centre of the ground, looking for Renee. He tries to mark there, swings around his left, gets a hand pass to Bull. His hand pass is smothered. Renee grabs the ball. He breaks the tackle of Jed Corbett, kicks this one forward and finds O'Brien. Gets a hand pass forward to Cable. He's tackled. Fettle, that is. He's tackled. Tom Quinn gets a hand pass away. Gathered by Charlie Smith. Back to Dan Foley. Hand passes wide to Colby Hamlin. Then to Jack Sussay. Chips a little one short. Into the centre of the ground of Tom Anderson. It slips through his fingers, but here he gathers onto Charlie Smith. Gets a hand pass onto Tom Quinn. Pressure here from Narandra. Numbers are building. The handball goes back. On the ground there, over the top of it is Dan Foley, and Tom Quinn dives in on top of the ball, and the umpire call for a ball up.
We're only 10 days off the shortest day, Baz. It's been a great winter so far.
Ball's thrown up. Dan Foley taps it back, looking for Charlie Smith. Coming through is Narandra. The ball spills out the back to Jake Underwood. He gets his hand pass away. Back into the play it goes, and Jack Reynolds is tackled there, and umpire has awarded him for a dump tackle and gets a free kick. Goes wide, looking for Charlie Smith, who spreads from the contest. Takes one bounce. Kicks this one long and high, looking for Jed Corbett. It's a tussle for the mark here. And he's held when not in possession in that marking contest, and he'll get the free kick.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious his Eagles opponent had hold of him way before the ball was anywhere near.
The umpire was right there, and much to the disgust of Nick O'Brien, he's given away a 50-metre penalty, so Jed Corbett will be marched to the goal line, and this...
Well, he'd have to fall over to miss this one, Andrew. Yes, the Eagles player there was demonstrating to the umpire why it wasn't a free kick, and the umpire wasn't going to buy that.
So that's Jed Corbett's 6th goal of the game, and it's the 6 goals for the quarter, I think, Guy.
Well, that takes the Lions to 16, 13, 109. The Eagles are 2, 6, 18. We've got a quarter to go here at the sports ground. We enjoy bringing it to you, and we enjoy if the Eagles could get a few more on the board, even better. So back into it here at the Den to the final quarter against the Eagles.
As Narandra get the clearance, it's marked by Brad Matters across half back there for the Lions. He goes wide to Zach Burhop, who marks on the wing. Chips a little one inside to Jack Sussay in the centre of the ground. He can play on here. Hand passes over the top to Brad Matters. Chips one forward to Tom Quinn as the Lions press forward here with numbers. He kicks this one high, looking for a Seb Hamlin coming through his Darcy Pendergast, and Isaac Carroll gathers the ball, Veering gathers the ball, and he's tackled there in the Lions 50 as the ball's thrown up. Sean Foley in front, taps it down, looking for Zach Reynolds onto Jed Corbett. Handballs back to Dan Foley. Kicks one over the top, looking for Jake Underwood. It goes through his hands. Spilt there by Seb Hamlin. Swings around on his trusty left. Kicks this one towards goal, and it's out on the full.
So we've been talking about that raffle for the support of MND here today with that fantastic prize that's been made by Ken Limbrick, former Grongrong Madong man and Lions supporter. The raffle grossed $2,140, so a great effort here today for the raffle.
Veering brings this back in for Andrew. Goes wide. Tom Anderson's up high for a screamer.
It's a day for it, Andrew. That's the 3rd screamer we've seen today. 2 in the first grade and 1 in the second.
And Tommy will want this on repeat all night as he kicks this one high into the forward line. It's gone over the back there. Under it is O'Brien. He grabs the ball out of the ruck and he's wrapped up in a tackle there, and the umpire says, ball it up.
I dare you to tell him after the game that Baz missed it, Andrew.
That was a ripper of a mark by Tom Anderson. Sean Foley in the ruck down to Oscar Hattie there. He tries to get his kick away, but the ball spills out the back there. Gathered by Nate Hamlin. Bags around 1, 2, 3, and he's hit the post. So clear there by Darcy Mimo. Spoiled by Tom Quinn at half back there for the Lions. Gathered by Davies to Narandra. Onto Cable. Henry kicks forward looking for James Smith. Marks in front of Boston McCree on the wing. Kicks this one long and low and finds Kyle Bull, but he can't mark. Gathered by Josh Walsh, but intercepted by James Smith. Back to Kyle Bull. Then on to Fettel. Davies is caught high there in his attempt to take the ball, and he'll get the free kick. And he'll send this long, looking for Renee, who's gone forward. It's spoiled by Burhop, gathered by Henry Cable, kicks this one high. Tom Anderson sits under it. Ball bounces back into the favour of Narandra here, gathered by Matt Foley. On to Tom Anderson, swings around his left, grabs one forward, looking for Jake Underwood, goes through his legs, coming out to meet it is Tom Anderson. He cops one high, and he's going to get a free kick. And it's 50 metres for descent again. Narandra just lacking a little bit of discipline here in this second half.
That's their second infringement in that department. And he's telling Tom Anderson that he wasn't ready for him to take the kick. He hadn't called play on. Now he's right.
Kicks one forward and finds Nate Hamlin at centre half forward. He's going to swing around his right, sends this one long and high into the forward line. Leaping high is Seb Hamlin, but it's a good mark to Darcy Pendergast at the back of the pack. Goes wide. looking for Darcy Mimo, but he's under pressure from Oscar Hattie. He regains his feet first, gets a hand pass to Zach Burhopper. He'll swing around and send this in high to the forward line, sitting under. Over the back is Jake Underwood. Has to dodge one way, then the next. Swings around on his left. This one's gone high. Sitting under is Jack Reynolds. He marks. The umpire has paid the mark. And Jack Reynolds will take the kick on a slide angle.
Again, we're right behind it. Waterview Street end of the ground. He pops it over the goal umpire's head for another major.
And that's Jack Reynolds first.
That takes the Lions to 17-14, 116. The Eagles are 2-6-8. 5 minutes gone in the third, and the Eagles will be desperate to get to the end of the game before there's too much more damage.
That's the Lions' 10th goal kicker. As around the grounds, Wagga Tigers have edged in front of Griffith. 6 minutes into the last, 48-40. Ball's thrown high. Tom Anderson dives in over the top of the one. Him and James Smith wrestle for possession. And in the other game to the west, Leeton Witten 51, Turvey Park 68, 27 minutes gone in the third as the umpire throws it up here at the Gammain Sports Ground. Dan Foley taps it down, coming through as Shannon Butterfield, but it's gathered by Henry Cable, kicks this one forward. Spoiled there by Boston McCree, coming through as Tom Quinn, hand pass to Dan Foley, on to Brad Matters, he chipped wide and finds Colby Hamlin. He can switch it back inside, looking for Dan Foley, who takes the mark. Racking up possession after possession. He goes wide and finds Josh Walsh on that far half-back flank. Dodges around his opponent. Plays on, kicks one forward, looking for Zach Burhop. Getting very dark here at the Gammain Sports Ground. Gets it on to Jack Reynolds, to Jack Sussay. He has a running shot to goal. Sends it into the goal square. Goes through the hands of Jed Corbett, gathered by O'Brien. Smothered there by the Lions. Into the pathway of Henry Cable. He gathers, swings around his left. It's going to be a race for the ball for the sidelines here with Brad Matters in pursuit, and he'll gain the lasso possession.
And just as you said that, Andrew, the lights magically came on, so you've got the Midas touch.
Hallelujah, as he kicks this forward, looking for Jed Corbett in the pocket, and he marks. Did he take that mark? Yes, the umpire's paid it.
Paid a mark.
Goes inside and finds Jake Underwood at a better angle, 30 metres out.
I thought there might have been a decree from the Treasurer that we're not buying any more electricity today.
Yes, the lights are on here and it's brightened things up straight away.
That's improved that job now, Baz, as we're right behind Jake Underwood. We're going to steer it home. He'll come in on that left.
Kick's looking not too bad. Umpire Rick Fairman loves it and he signals a goal. Jake Underwood's second goal of the game.
18-14, 122 the Lions. The Eagles are stuck on 2-6-18 with nearly 8 minutes gone now. In a much improved Gammain Sports Ground with the lights on. Don't know what we did years ago, Andrew. We just had to tough it out.
Yeah, many a day here it'd be dark as you get to the shortest day of the year as the ball back to the centre ground, tapped by Dan Foley but gathered by Renee. Swings around on that trusty left and sends this one forward. Leaping high is Jack Sussay. They all want to take a screamer today. And the ball's on the ground there and the umpire will ball it up. Ball's thrown up there. Dan Foley taps it down. Coming through is Jack Sussay. Bumps into his teammate Tom Anderson. And the umpire called for a ball up. Dan Foley taps it down into the path of Jack Reynolds. Kicks this one forward. Looking for Zach Burhop, who marks as the lights flicker on that far side.
Yeah, that scoreboard tower one, it's flickering a little bit. And the ball's thrown up there as Dan Foley
Taps it down, and it's gone to Henry Cable. Kicks this one forward looking for Kyle Bull, but it's gathered by Boston McCree on the boundary line. Sends this one down the wing there. Raced for the ball here by Zach Kennedy. He gathers. He's tackled as he goes possession. Coming through is Lucas Hattie. He's also wrapped up in a tackle. Still plenty of desperation here late in the game from the Narrandera Eagles. And the umpire will ball it up. Dan Foley taps it down to Tom Anderson. Hand pass over the top to Jack Reynolds. Back to Tom Anderson. Gets his kick away. Kicks it downfield, but it's straight into the arms of Darcy Pendergast. He goes through the centre of the ground. Lucas Hattie has the behind position, but marks over the top of Renee. And he's looking to find a passage forward, and he finds Nate Hamlin, who marks. Dodges around Renee. Kicks to Shannon Butterfield. Back to Nate Hamlin. He's on the 50 here. It's going to be a running shot at goal. The ball looks good off the boot. It's through for a goal.
It's all the way, Andrew.
That's his third.
The Lions are 19-14, 128. The Eagles are 2-6, 18. 10.5 minutes gone here. Final term here at the Den. Well, immediately the game's over here. The Lions will focus on the game next week at Kindra Park at Coolaman. And we can give you some information that Andrew's been asked to help call that game up there, which is terrific. And Baz has been asked not to stream the game, but you'll be able to pick it up on your FM radio in the car at the ground next week up at Kindra Park, Coolaman.
So back to the game here, and it's a free kick to Darcy Pendergast across half-back for Narrandera. He goes wide, looking for Darcy Mimo, and he marks on that half-back flank, plays on quickly, gets his kick away, and it's marked by Isaac Carroll in the middle of the ground. Kick forward there by Narrandera, and it's marked by Josh Walsh, who cuts it off. A quick kick to Lucas Hattie in front of the scoreboard. He elects to go back to Matt Foley. Kicks one and finds Boston McCree in this near side pocket. Tips a little one forward to Jack Sussay. The Lions controlling the play. He goes into the centre of the ground. It's a diving attempt there by Lucas Hattie. He has to play on. Kicks this one long and high, but it's marked by O'Brien. Goes into the centre of the ground. His kick is a one-hander there by Cable, who cramps up. He'll have to go back and take his kick. Goes wide, looking for Isaac Carroll. He marks on the wing. Kicks this one forward. Hand passes to Cable, kicks it forward, but it's into the arms of Jack Sussay. That was Dylan Kanagi that kicked that one forward for Narrandera, marked by Boston McCree now. On to Nate Hamlin, who kicked that last goal for the Lions. He chips one wide here to Brad Matters. Kicks one long and low into the centre of the ground, looking for Jake Underwood. Takes a good mark on the wing there. He's grabbed. Allowed to go back and take his kick. And they kick one to the pocket, but it's through the arms of Fettle. Picked up by Burhop. Tries to squeeze this one inside the boundary line. But it's just out on the full. So a free kick here to Narrandera, to O'Brien.
Once again, we enjoy that sponsorship there. Coolamwood Butchery, John Bance, Funeral Directors, and Flynn Design for those stockyards.
Davies has the ball for Narrandera here, and he kicks wide to the far side. Finds Darcy Pendergast. He's got Darcy Nimmo in the centre of the ground, but it goes over his head. Coming through his Cable, who's been good for the Eagles, but he's wrapped up in a tackle there by Charlie Smith. Gets his hand pass away on to Sterling Cable, but his hand pass is spoiled there by Nate Hamlin. It's still in the field of play. He's cops one high, and the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
Ball up will take place right in front of the Narrandera's coaching box. Dying stages here is this game against the Eagles at the Den.
Dan Foley taps it over his head, charging through as Renee gets a hand pass forward, but spoiled by the Lions. It's out over the boundary line in front of the Narrandera Eagles box. Dan Foley in the ruck, but it's tapped down by Smith on that occasion. A quick hand pass out by Ryan to Smith. It goes forward to Cable. Dodgers round 1 and 2. His kick is smothered. Back into the pathway of Oscar Hattie. He tries to pick it up. He slips over. Gets that one back then, looking for Cable. He tries to mark. He's held when not in possession. And it'll be a free kick to Narrandera there. A late tackle by Colby Hamlin on Ethan Ryan. Kicks this one forward, looking for Bull. He's up high in front position is Boston McCree. Hand pass by Dan Foley out to Nate Hamlin, but it's cut off there by Davies. Has a running shot on goal. It looks pretty good, and it's a goal.
It's a late one for the Eagles.
Very good goal to Christian Davies.
Lions 19-14, 128. Although I do notice that the scoreboard, the Croker Grange scoreboard, shows the Lions have one goal more than what I've got them. Won't matter. The margin's that great, it doesn't matter. The Eagles are 3-6-24 with 16 minutes gone in the final term. Can the Eagles get another couple before we finish?
Dan Foley taps out in the ruck. Coming through is Nate Hamlin. Barges through and regathers. He's tackled though. And the umpire will call for a ball up on the line centre half forward. Dan Foley taps it back. Tapped by Zach Kennedy, who's held. But the umpire's found a free kick there to Zach Kennedy. He's on the 50. Chips one long and low, looking for Charlie Smith, all alone. 40 metres out, straight in front. Good vision by Zach Kennedy there.
Well, that just about sums up the day, the Eagles' day, Andrew, because they had enough time to account for everybody and they didn't bother manning up.
Charlie Smith on his way, sends this forward, and it's through for his second goal of the game. The Lions fourth for the final term.
20-14, 134. The Eagles 3-6-24. 17 minutes gone now.
Back to the centre of the ground. Dan Foley, he's rucked all day there, along with James Smith, his opponent. Smith taps that down, but Shannon Butterfield's gathered. He goes wide to Colby Hamlin. He's tackled. The ball spills free. Coming through is Shannon Butterfield, gathered by Colby Hamlin. Shannon Butterfield dives on top of it, and he's tackled. The umpire will call for a ball up. Dan Foley front position, grabs it out of the ruck, gets a quick kick away into the arms of Isaac Carroll. He can't hold it. Then on to Zach Kennedy. He's tackled, and the umpire will call for a ball up. Foley and Smith in the ruck. Dan Foley attempts to tap it back. Grabbed by Rankin there for Narrandera, and he's tackled. The umpire ball it up once again. Dan Foley taps it down, looking for Ryan there for Narrandera. Ball's become quite greasy at the moment as the ball's kicked forward there by Narrandera. Gathered by Boston McCree, kicks one forward. Gathered by Rankin there. Scooped up by Shannon Butterfield, and he's tackled. Become a contested game here that's not moving freely at the moment. Dan Foley tries to grab it out of the ruck. He does. Back to Brad Matters. He's on his left. He's tackled. Gets his hand pass away to Zach Kennedy. He's tackled. Breaks one. Hand pass over the top to Shannon Butterfield. On to Jack Reynolds here. Sends this one long, looking for Sean Foley, but it's marked by Dale Quilter. He can come wide there. Jack Reynolds is going to spoil this, which he does. Good pressure, and it's out over the sideline.
We'll have a throw in there right in front of that area there. That sponsorship from Scott Bradley from Coolaman. Be a home game for the Bradley Corporation next week.
Ball thrown in, grabbed by Seb Hamlin out of the ruck onto Jack Reynolds. Kicks this one high into the goal square. Players go for the ball. The ball's on the ground there. Spoiled by Narandra. Ball comes out. Seb Hamlin gathers. Can't control it as Narandra scoop it off the ground there by Isaac Carroll onto Bull. And he's tackled and the ball spills free. It'll be a free kick to Nate Hamlin there at centre half forward.
He's outside the 50. What's the chance this one, Andrew?
Oh, the ball will be starting to get a bit heavy. I think it might be beyond him. He might be looking around for... He is looking for someone in a better position, but there's nothing forthcoming.
So it'll be a pack job.
He's going to have to kick this to the goal square. It's going to go all the way, though. He's proved us all wrong. It's a ripper.
Yep.
It's gone a good 55 metres.
Beautiful kick with a little bit greasy, heavy ball late in the day here at the Gambone Sports Ground.
And that's his 4 for the game. It's been a very good day for Nate Hamlin.
Lions 21-14, 140. Eagles 3-6-24. Nearly 21 minutes gone. And they can't go fast enough for the Eagles. Lions still affecting changes from the bench. Rotation, rotation, rotation.
Ball's thrown up. Neither ruckman want to contest that one. It's on the ground there, and coming through is Shannon Butterfield.
They might be getting a little bit tired, Andrew.
Darcy Nimmo just gingerly gets to his feet. He slipped there, but Dan Foley taps it down. It's gathered by Darcy Nimmo. There will be another ball up. Dan Foley tries to grab it out of the ruck. Darcy Nimmo has possession once again. Umpire throws it up. Dan Foley taps it down. Coming through is Nate Hamlin. The ball's on the ground there. It's picked up by Oscar Hattie. Gets his kick forward to the path of Jed Corbett. He takes the ball but tackled. And the umpire called for a ball up. Thrown up again. James Smith with front position. He grabs it. He's tackled by Dan Foley. Coming through is Oscar Hattie. And he's deemed to have thrown the ball. And Isaac Carroll will take possession. Kicks this into the centre of the ground. It's a long lead by Kyle Bull. He can't mark. Coming out to meet it is Henry Cable for Narandra. The ball's on the ground there. Players try to pick it up. It spills out. And the umpire finds a free kick amongst it. And it'll go to Henry Cable. One of Narandra's best today. And he'll send this long into the forward line. He's looking for Riley Fettle, and he marks 50 metres out. Can Narandra get a late goal here? He sends this one its way. It's going to go right to the square, and it's spoiled through for a behind. The measly Lions defence won't allow another goal.
Well, this will be about their last-ditch effort to return this ball from the Jack Sasse kick-in.
He elects to go wide to the scoreboard side. It goes through the arms of Josh Walsh. Gathered by Narandra there. Through Fettle, back to Isaac Carroll. Kicks this one forward. Numbers there for the Lions. And grabbed by Dan Foley. He holds it up there. 25 metres out on a 45-degree angle from goal for Narandra. Dan Foley taps that forward, grabs it out of the ruck to himself. On to Shannon Butterfield, kicks one forward, but it's marked by Kanagi there for the Narandra Eagles who will send this one back in. Sitting under it is Renee. Goes through his hands as the siren goes to end the game here at the Gammain Sports Ground. It's been a solid victory for the Lions.
Yeah, just too strong all over the park for the Eagles here today. Multiple best players for the Lions, really.
Yes, as I said earlier, they've had 10 goal kickers. I've got 6 to Jed Corbett, 4 to Nate Hamlin, 3 to Seb Hamlin, 2 each to Charlie Smith, Jake Underwood, and 1 each to Oscar Hattie, Sean Foley, Jack Reynolds, Zach Burhop, and Zach Kennedy. And best man on the ground today was, by my mind, was Dan Foley. Countless possessions there in the ruck.
He just controlled the centre, Andrew, and controlled the round the ground ruck work. Yep. The Lions Rovers, ruck rovers, are spoilt to have to rove to a fellow of that calibre, Dan's calibre, and they've got good understanding too. So a long day for the Eagles here. We can't say much more as we finish in the gloom here at the Den, the Gammain Sports Ground. It's been a mixed day, or a pretty good day for the Lions. They've won the seconds and the first grade. They've been able to raise some valuable money for the Fight M&D cause. And as I mentioned there a little bit, the focus now for the Lions switches to that the short trek to Kindra Park, Coolaman. It's a Sunday game next week.
Yeah, Sunday game, same day football. Should be a huge crowd there at Kindra Park.
Yeah, well,
number 1 versus number 2 in the competition at the moment. So
that's set up for a promoter's dream, Andrew. So we wish Andrew all the best as he ventures up into the enemy territory to help call that game up at Kindra Park. And we can tune in on your FM radio to Baz's broadcast around the ground. I said Baz is not doing the streaming, but we can do the FM radio pickup by Baz's technology, which we'll look forward to doing. So that's about it here from the Den. Anything more, Andrew?
No, that about wraps it up for me, Guy.
So thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Baz. Thank you very much, Tammy, for your efforts here today as we close out from the Gammain Sports Ground.